Okay, y'all ready to do it before the blizzard hits?
Yeah.
We're going to be on a Course of Love, page 241, if you have the book. We're on page 241, and we're going to be in the chapter called Attention. And thank you for giving me your attention. And we know the only rule is you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it. If you use it, you'll see that it works. Nobody's trying to convert anybody. It's no accident that we're here. So it's a possibility that there's something that all of us need to hear. Mm-hmm. So we're on the lookout for whatever our own personal special message is, and it may seem like it's related to what I say. It may be something that somebody else says in response to something that's coming down, but there's this message that Spirit wants us to have tonight. I've gone through the chapter and picked out the main points that stuck out to me in each paragraph. So I'm going to go through the paragraph, and then I'm going to hit the main point of that paragraph, and then we'll also throw it open in case there's a question or a clarification or something that we need to get about that paragraph. So the only thing I would ask is that as much as we possibly can is to try to limit the questions and stuff to what we're actually reading so that we can remember it, because the truth keeps telling us that it's not about analyzing it, it's about really remembering it. And then applying what we hear to whatever it is that we're going through right now. So whatever it is you think you're going through in your life right now, Spirit sent you here tonight, and there's a possibility there's something that we're going to hear tonight that's going to be relevant to that. The first paragraph, it starts off with, "A split mind and heart can prevent you from utilizing the power of choice. But a split mind and heart cannot prevent you from claiming this choice as your own. Choose anew, and let the power of heaven come together to seal the rift between your mind and heart and make you whole once again." The chapter is called Attention. And it says to attend is to be present and to be of service. To attend is to be present and to be of service. This is the meaning of which we speak when we ask for commitment to life that requires your attention. It is both a request for focus and readiness and a request for service that can only be given in the presence. A service that can only be given in the present. Service that can only be given in the present by a mind and heart available to the requirements of the present. Service that can only be given in the present by a mind and heart available to the requirements of the present. It is the appropriate attitude for the time of tenderness, as it is an attitude of ministry. So, an attitude of ministry is an attitude of focus and readiness, which means service that can only be given in the present by the mind and heart available to the requirements of the present. So the first paragraph is basically saying to attend is to be present and to be of service, and to be of service can only be given in the present by a mind and heart available to the requirements of the present. Mm-hmm. Any questions or comments about that paragraph? So if I'm going to be of service to you, then I can only be of service to you in the present. And I've also got to be available for what this present moment is requiring. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to be any use to anybody, I can only do it now, and I can only do it by being available to whatever is being required for me to do right now. Okay, so if we're going to be of service to each other right now, then we can only do it right here, right now, and we need to have a mind and heart that's available to the requirements of the present. And we can loop back and go, well, the only requirement of the present really is for attention. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you know if you're present?
You're not thinking about the past or the future. Mm-hmm. You would really not be thinking about anything that's happened before this moment or wondering what's going to happen the next moment. So if you're sitting here right now thinking about later on, you're not present. Mm-hmm. And if you're thinking about what happened before you got here, you're not present. Or 1 minute ago, you're not present. Mm-hmm. Or what I'm going to say next is not present. It's amazing how much I'm never in the present. Yeah. Kind of explains a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody else about this paragraph? Thanks for asking that, because that's a good question. Yeah. Your function cannot be known to you while you shy away from the idea of service. Whether you realize it or not, you associate service with subjugation. Particularly the idea of service to a higher will or a higher cause. Some of you associate service with a lack of free will, a lack of choice, a course that will lead you to a subservient stature. Others think of service in terms of charity and continue to see a difference between those who would serve and those who would be served. Few of you have as yet integrated this course's definition of service into your lives. But now you shall, for you cannot bring the learning you have done here into an engagement with life and not realize the true meaning of service, or in contrast, the true meaning of use. So basically, it's telling us that the reason why we don't want to serve is because what we've been taught service is, which is basically, like it was saying, subjugation, doing a lot of stuff you basically don't want to do. You know, like if I'm going to be of service, I've got to now go to some third world country and help feed people. You know, when I really want to go to the movie. You know? So it's like, so when we hear the word service, a lot of times it's thought of as something I should do, but I really don't want to do it. If you're a good person, you serve. And so one of the ways you can always tell, according to the course, when you have a misperception of any idea is you don't feel inspired. So if you're listening to what I'm saying and you don't feel inspiration, then there's a definition that you're giving yourself of it that's not true. Because your function and your happiness are the same thing. That's how you can tell when you're fulfilling your function, because when you're fulfilling your function, you are joyful, you are happy, you're inspired. So we are being asked to stop associating service and fulfilling our function with toil and drudgery and not doing what we love to do. We're only doing that because we don't have faith in a higher power and we think we have to take care of ourselves. And if we don't do it on our own, we can't make it. So we just got to go do what's necessary to make it. Everybody hip to that? Yeah, or else you would be doing what you want to do every day. Right, all of us would. So basically people are doing what they don't want to do all the time because they think they have to in order to make it. All right? But if I really believed that I was sustained by the love of God and I was listening to my guidance and I was in touch with my source, I would be doing what I love to do every day. Because I wouldn't worry about whether or not I would be taken care of or provided for. So, paragraph 2, let the universe be of service to you. Let the universe be of service. To be of service to God is not to be a slave to God, but to attend to God. To give God your attention and your care. Give to God your devotion and your willingness to serve instead of use. Is for God to make use of you. That's going to be the point that's to be made in paragraph 3, as a matter of fact. But the main point in this one is that you cannot know your function as long as you shy away from the idea of being of service. I won't know what I won't really be doing what's making me joyful until I'm doing the thing that I came here to do, which is to serve. I know when I'm serving the way I should be serving, because when I'm serving the way I should be serving, I would be joyful and inspired. So if I'm not feeling joyful and inspired, then I need to be listening attentively, because there's some guidance that I'm receiving that I'm not hearing yet. That means I need to get quiet, I need to get still, because I'm missing some guidance right now. And so in whatever area of my life that I feel that way, I'm not hearing my guidance. Okay, any questions about that paragraph?
I find that if I'm not in that spot of joyfulness and, you know, that spot, I get sick.
Right.
Now it's no longer not okay to be in that spot. And if I force myself to be in that spot, then, you know, I'll get sick.
If you force yourself to be in what spot?
In the spot where there is no joy, and, you know, if I'm going in that direction where there is no joy and I'm off center, I know it's not the right, you know, going against the flow basically. Right. It doesn't work anymore.
Right. And if you feel that way most of the time, then sometimes rather than do what's necessary for a person to hear the guidance, they'll convince themselves that their sadness and not being inspired and all of that is just normal.
Right.
So if I'm not ready to change it, I'll just make it normal. So most people just think it's normal not to feel inspired and joyful and happy. They're just doing what you just have to do because they're not willing to do what's necessary to truly be inspired. So they make it okay. It's like a person who's not willing to allow themselves to attract their prosperity and abundance. Well, they're going to come up with a philosophy that poverty is the greatest thing you can go through for spiritual growth. So then they make it really, so then the less you have, the more spiritual you are. Because then they don't have to change their mind. So most people would rather change their mind to adjust to the circumstance that they're in, even if they're not happy, than to do what's necessary to change their mind in order to have the joy that they want to have in their life. And so we're being instructed that service is not drudgery. Yeah, yay. Yay. Anyone else? Paragraph 29.3. You who have so worried over what to do have both welcomed and feared the idea of some kind of service being required of you. There is no mystery to this, as the idea of service in your society is one of enforced duty, as exemplified by your military service. You have no notion, as did people of the past, of being of service to God. This is a symptom of the reign of the ego and the ego's ability to both aggrandize your notion of yourself and to minimize your notion of yourself. In other words, to be of service to God is not to be a slave to God, but to attend to God, to give God your attention and your care. You who would cry, God, make use of me, only need to give to God your devotion and your willingness to serve instead of your willingness to use. So rather than wanting to use everybody and everything around me, at some level, if I really want to be devoted to the higher power, I would want to be of service to everyone around me. The ego mind is about using everything and everybody around it for its own personal purposes. A conscious being is about how can I be of service through doing the thing that inspires me, that brings me joy, and that's a healing to everyone around me. See the difference? Mm-hmm. It's a difference between showing up to be of service, to bring joy into an experience, than showing up so that you can use everybody around you for your personal fantasy and personal needs. So the Course in Miracles says that's why we single people out, because we single the people out who we think would be best at fulfilling the needs that we think we have. Mm-hmm. That's why we choose one person over another one. It's who would be most likely to be the one to fulfill the need I think I have in this moment. But if I want to use everybody to recognize the truth of who I really am, if I wanted that to be the thing that I wanted to happen with everybody, then everybody would be equally valuable to me. I wouldn't have to choose any person because I can learn how to practice the truth with every person in the room. It's my personal needs that make me single you out. And most people don't have any personal need for me. Isn't that true of you too? Yes. Most people don't have a personal need for you. Isn't that right? Right. Yeah. And then the people who do have a personal need for you, they see you as being a means to achieve some goal that they have. Mm-hmm. Even if it's the goal to have a good time, a goal to have somebody to talk to, a goal to have somebody to make love to, a goal to have somebody to do something with, a goal to learn something. It's got to be a personal need to the ego in order for the person to be of interest to you. Mm-hmm. So, and then he says that's based on the past, what it is you program yourself to believe that you need based on what you've learned in the past. Anyway, so there's nothing to feel guilty about. It's just that's what happens. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to get to the point I could listen to what the truth was saying without taking out the psychic sledgehammer to beat myself up, as if beating myself up for having these tendencies somehow or another made me better. So if I hear something like, well, basically you want to meet people so that they can fulfill your personal needs, then my ego goes, oh, wow, I'm a bad person because that's exactly right. Rather than going, yeah, that's true, there is a part of my mind that does want people to meet my personal needs, and I'm interested in them in terms of how they can meet my personal needs. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to choose to do it differently, and I'll see if I can be of service and I can come more from a joyful place. That's the only thing it should be. That's the only way it should be looked at. Not that I'm bad, but let me just change my mind. Yes.
Help me understand how I would attend to God.
Well, that's what attending to God is. attending to God is, what I'm saying, it's a new definition. So it's attending to God is not the way we were taught of it, being almost like a slave to some higher being that you're trying to attend to. Like it's this big man in the sky that, that's really dysfunctional. It's not that. It's really, I'm attending to God when I'm attending to you. I'm attending to God when I'm being of service. That's what it's doing. It's giving us a new definition of what attending to God means, which is completely different from the way we've been programmed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a great question, because it is a new approach. It's good. I would love to think my joy, my happiness, my being of service to you is my attending to God, because God is all of us. Mm-hmm. God is all that is. God is not separate. The Creator is not separate from the creation. That's the great mystery. That's the great secret that we've forgotten about. That we are it. Mm-hmm. And it's more than us, too.
And the created are not separate.
Right. And we're not separate. We think we are because we have made up needs. Plus, we wanted to have it's like the one, whatever it was or is, wanted to have the experience of itself as this. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
Obviously, whatever this is, I mean, you don't even have to get deep about that. Whatever this is, obviously wanted to have this experience. Yeah. Whatever this is. Mm-hmm. But the challenge is that we've forgotten that we are this and we are one and we are connected. And that the only difference between us is based on the different needs that we think we have. It's almost like going from a very complex perception of reality to being willing to go to a simple one. Mm-hmm. And the Course in Miracles and the Course of Love both teach about how complexity is a smokescreen of our ego. It's like the complexity is our ego. We want to make everything more complex than it actually is. And so he says when we hear simplicity, it blows our mind, because we are programmed for complexity. So devotion to God has got to be more intense than just you doing what inspires you to be of service to other people around you that makes you happy. It's got to be deeper than that, but it's not. It's not deeper than that, because an intelligent being would always ask you to do something that you could do now if he wanted to get something done. Like if I really wanted to get something done, number one, I'd ask you to do something you wanted to do, and it would be something you could do. That would be the quickest way for me to get something done. The slowest way to get something done is to always try to get somebody to do it who doesn't want to do it and doesn't even believe they're capable of it. Right. That's what we do. We pick out somebody, and then we try to make them into we want them to be, whether they want to or not, because they're cute. Okay?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you do. I don't know what I'm talking about either. So. That makes two of us. I've heard about that. I've personally never done it.
I know.
Okay, good. All right, now.
Being of service, though, is, it's simple, but it isn't shallow. It's deep. I mean, that's some deep shit.
Yeah.
I mean, being of service can get extremely deep and very, and quite beautiful.
And quite beautiful and quite joyful.
And so.
Yeah.
But it can be simple.
It's what could be simpler than being who you are and being who you are being what's needed.
Right.
I mean, what could be? You know what I'm saying? It's like the sun's just being the sun, but it's totally, completely giving life force energy to the planet and everything else that's happening. But the sun is like going, well, I'm going to try to make an apple tree grow today. You know what I'm saying? The sun is just being the sun. Just the nature of the sun is creating that.
Right.
You're the sun. The nature of who you are has effects on everything around you in a positive way that you never even know about. Some of your greatest healings that you've done and the greatest benefits you've done to others has been in situations that you have no awareness of. You could have changed someone's life and you don't have the slightest idea how much their lives have changed as a result of just a chance encounter with you. Usually that's when you help people the best, is when you don't know you're doing it. The Course says consciously selected miracles that are usually the most misguided. It's the people that you sit down and decide you're going to help that gets really screwed. You know, it's like when you go, I'm going to go help that person. You don't really know what's best for that person. You don't really know what's best for anybody, is what the truth tells us. That's just it's only your ego that could make that decision, that it knows what's best for somebody else. So in most cases, I would venture to say that we've been of most benefit when we didn't even know it. You know, I'm sure all of us have had the experience of someone coming up to us at some time in our lives and saying, hey, what you did or said really made a difference. And you say, what did I say? You don't even remember what you did. You know, I got an email from somebody in Ghana, who was talking about the difference that what I've been sharing on the internet had made. You know, and so you never know. You know, in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't imagine somebody in Ghana was like, you know, benefiting from something they were hearing. Singapore, Japan, Ireland, Germany, South America. It's like, and it's like, wow, it blows my mind. You know, because you don't know who you're reaching. I don't know the effect that I'm having. You don't know the effect that you're having. Right? And just think about it, because most of the people that influence you, they didn't know it either. Like all the different authors and teachers that you study, they don't know you exist. And you're totally and completely being benefited by what they do. Making life decisions, making choices to leave jobs or relationships or change a career because of something you read, and that person doesn't even know you exist. Isn't that a trip? Yeah, like Helen Shugman, who channeled the course of Amari Paran, who did the Course of Love. She's written me before and told me how something I said in this class helped her understand it better. You know what I'm saying? Because she realized that it came through her, not from her, and she's as much a student of it as anybody else is. You know, which is really cool. Which is really cool. You know, so I try to make it a point to hear what I say too at some point. Because most of the time I have to go back and listen. That's why I video it, so I can listen back to what was said through me, because I know that the message is for me more than anybody else in the room. The message that comes through me, it's got to be for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just by definition, the fact that this is coming through me, I know it's got to be for me. And the fact that you're here, you know it's got to be for you, because you're here. So we're equally valuable. We're equal teachers and learners here. Isn't that cool? Yeah. The equality is the basis of the miracle. It's in the idea that we're all equal, that the miracle happens. You know, the superior, inferior stuff, that's the struggle level. Right? So the main point of this paragraph, I'll say it again, is to be of service to God is not to be a slave to God, but to attend to God. That means to give God your attention and your care. Give to God your devotion and your willingness to serve. That's what I was just saying earlier. Instead of use, is for God to make use of you. The next paragraph, 29.4. Further, you need to let the universe be of service to you. Let the universe be of service to you, rather than trying to use the universe to accomplish your goals. You need to let the universe be of service to you, rather than trying to use the universe to accomplish your goals. These adjustments in your attitude towards service will bring about the completion of the cycle of giving and receiving and the beginning of wholeness. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. Wow. Are you willing to let the universe be of service to you? I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I am willing to let the universe be of service to me. I want to make a memory in my body. I want to take it beyond just the intellect and allow myself to do something that seems slightly weird so that I can remember it and I can feel it. That's why I chant, that's why I affirm. It's much more powerful than just all in the head. I'm willing to let the universe be of service. I'm willing to let the universe be of service to me. It's in there, yeah.
Days later, after you do stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I find myself just walking around and I'm singing, God is love.
That's right.
God is love.
That's right.
That kind of stuff. So
That's
it
what I'm
sticks.
talking about. So I'm talking about just why you got a black dude teaching. No accident. I'm gonna have to put a little juice in there. I can't help it. I can't do that. I just can't be in my head all the time. I was explode. You see a black man explode. You got some music and some, got to. Rattle and everything.
Oh, man.
That's right. Pass it around. We're going to keep passing it around. If you haven't signed it this year, please sign it. If you have signed it this year, don't sign it. Okay. All right. So that paragraph is the one, 29.4, let the universe be of service to you rather than trying to use the universe to accomplish your goals. What do y'all think about that? That whole idea of trying to use the universe just to accomplish your goals. I have done that a lot.
Yes.
That's all I ever do. I sit back, I think of what I want, and then I go, well, how can the universe manifest that for me? I never think of it in terms of letting the universe be of service to me. So much as I think of trying to use the universe to accomplish my goals, because I used to think that was the same thing. I thought the universe being of service to me was the universe helping me accomplish my goals. And so this is saying that's two different things. Because the universe being of service to me would be the universe serving my highest good. Trying to get the universe to accomplish my goals doesn't necessarily mean I'm trying to get the universe to serve my highest good. Y'all got that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I want something, how many times those of you who have children have seen your children desire something that you know would not be there for in their own best interest, and so you didn't do it, right? But we tend to think because we are older that everything we ask for is automatically what we should have, right? We don't think of it in terms of maybe the reason why that relationship didn't happen or that thing didn't happen or I didn't get that job or this change was because that wasn't for my greater good either, but I thought it was. So how good would we feel tonight if we could accept that everything that didn't happen has been for our own best interest?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Oh, thank God that relationship didn't last. Oh, thank God that person didn't give me their phone number. Thank God I didn't get hired on that job. Yeah, I could look at it like that too. Thank God that I lived in that city and I didn't live in that one. Wow, I would feel better, so I can't do that.
Earl,
Yeah.
isn't letting the universe be of service to us the same thing as simply living the principles of the Course?
Exactly. That is actually how you allow the universe to be of service to you. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. If I was to do what I'm being told, that would allow the good to happen. We're actually being taught how to get out of our own way. That's all this stuff is. It's just we're being taught how to get out of our own way. That's all. And what's so cool is this. you're going to make it either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going according to this stuff. Nobody loses, everybody makes it. Now, there's a difference between, you know what I'm saying, taking a trip in a 1942 truck with no shocks and getting to California and being in a Rolls Royce, taking a trip to California. You're both going to end up in California, but wow, one of them's going to be a very bumpy ride. Okay, so that's the difference between following truth teachings and not following truth teaching. You're still going to get there, but it won't be as comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and I want a comfortable ride. I'm sorry, I want an easy life. Sorry, I know that might sound like blasphemy to some people, but I really want it easy. I want an easy, harmonious life, all the time. All the time. You know, and if I make an error, I would love to be lovingly corrected. Lovingly
Especially
corrected.
by yourself,
Yeah.
to yourself.
Yeah.
To myself, I would love the correction to be a loving, gentle correction. I've had harsh corrections. I've done that. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing worse than a harsh correction. Okay. But fearful people respond to fear. So people who don't love themselves, they don't respond to gentle teachings. They have to be threatened to do right. You know that's the truth, right? Yeah, fearful people are motivated by fear. As a matter of fact, a loving person is frightening to them. It's funny, isn't it? But the more loving you are, the more frightening you are to a fearful person. Because they really think you're deceiving them. It's weird. But if you act mean and cruel, they think that they've been validated. Because I think people are mean and cruel. You are mean and cruel. Okay. My perception of reality is validated. I think people are mean and cruel and you can't trust them, and you being kind and loving, kind of suspicious of you. You
I
know.
have a very, very close friend that is going through a phase, I don't know what caused it, that the more he's being loved up by his friends who care about his happiness, the more mistrusting he's becoming because they want something.
Right.
They want to get something from me.
Right, because
Why
when
are
he
you so
when he's loving and kind, it's because he wants to get something.
Thank you.
Okay. That's always, you know, there are no private thoughts. If you want to know what a person thinks like, it's whatever they think someone else is like.
Yep.
So all you have to do is listen to what a person says about everybody else, and you know exactly how their mind works.
Perfect.
And people are quick to tell you what they feel about somebody else, right?
Yep.
And give you their projections on somebody. So people don't really hide their thoughts from you, because people quickly will tell you their opinion of everybody else around them. But they don't know that for a conscious person, they're telling you about how they think. And so I'm listening to everybody around me. Can't trust nobody, huh? Okay, you don't trust yourself. You know, everybody's out to get you. Oh, you're out to get yourself, and you're out to get everybody else. You know, they're revealing themselves. But you have to listen. Listen. That's a curious concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listening. I think I'll try that. I mean, really listen. I mean, not listening you talk, but thinking about what I'm going to say next while you're talking, but actually listen to what you're saying. Want to be interested instead of trying to be interesting. All right, let's go to the next paragraph then. You're doing good. Further, you need to let the universe be of service to you rather than trying to use the universe to accomplish your goals. These adjustments in your attitude towards service will bring about the completion of the cycle of giving and receiving and the beginning of wholeness. This is as true for your goal of wholeheartedness as it is for any wider goal of unity, for they are the same goal. Wholeheartedness is unity regained. So when I say, so that term wholeheartedness can sound abstract unless you hear what it's saying. When you say you want to be wholehearted, you're just saying you want to regain your sense of unity. When I'm wholehearted, I've regained my sense of being joined. That's all. See how simple that definition is? But the ego would say, let me analyze that. What does it mean to be wholehearted? It means you regain your sense of unity. You feel your sense of connection again. It means that you don't see somebody else's interests as separate from yours. You know. I loved it when I heard Mitt Romney say the other day on the news that he wasn't concerned about the very poor. He wasn't concerned about he said, I'm not concerned about the very poor because they got some kind of safety net. They got some kind of safety net. And I'm not concerned about the very rich because they're fine. I'm just concerned about the middle class. And I was thinking, well, something is wrong if you need a safety net. That actually means you need some kind of support and some kind of help, or you wouldn't even need the net, to begin with. But it's interesting how the sense of unity that we're all in this together. It's not, I want everybody to be happy. I want the rich folk to be happy, the poor folk to be happy, the middle class to be happy. I don't have anything against people having wealth because that's me. And and the people in the middle class, well, who is that? That's me. And the poor people, that's me. If you have a sense of your oneness with everybody, there is nobody else but you. So you want everybody to be happy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I've met very happy rich people, and I've met very unhappy rich people, and I've met very happy middle class people, and I've met very unhappy middle class people, and I've met very happy people who didn't have a lot of material things, and I've met very unhappy people who didn't have a lot of material things. So obviously all of that's neutral. It just depends on the perception of the person that's going through it. Sorry. I like that. I like feeling like there's a connection between my happiness and me. Don't you like that? Don't you think that's a cool idea? That my happiness might be somehow connected to me? But I don't like it when I want to blame. When I want to blame, I don't like this stuff. And sometimes I want to blame. I do. I want to say it's everybody else's fault. If everybody else would change, I'd be happy. I know y'all don't know anything about that. I can tell by the way you look. So I just need y'all to help me.
Pray for you.
I just want y'all to pray for me.
Yes.
That's when some people look at me. Oh, really? You blamed?
Oh, mercy.
It's called anger. It's called upset. It's called being miserable. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. It says here, that's 29.5. 29.5, the main point is unity regained its wholeheartedness. Your return to unity is your return to full power. I love that. And your ability to be of service to God and your brothers and sisters. So my return to unity is my return to full power. I was sitting in a restaurant yesterday and a person came up to me and just patted me on the back and said, "Hey brother, how you doing?" On the way to, and then another person came up to me and said, I want you to feel better today. I hope you feel great today. And I want you to, another one, let me bring some, brought me 2 cups of soup and just set it down in front of me, the waitress. I've been having this experience of what appears to be total strangers giving me as much love and attention as it looked like people I know. It's been so eerie. But the truth promised that would happen if I started accepting the truth for myself. I would see I didn't need specialness in order to be loved, because it looked like I needed specialness in order for somebody to care about me. And that's why I was trying to have special relationships so that somebody would care, because in the world sometimes it looks like nobody cares unless you're special. I don't know about y'all, but that's what it looks to me. So with the truth, I always told me that's not true. That if I truly change my mind and recognize unity and recognize my oneness, then all parts of me would nurture me. And so it's been interesting because I've been dealing with this defense against the truth, called a chest cold and stuff. And it's been interesting to watch. Like I walked in today and Love had brought me some food, thank you. And so it's without saying anything, But if I had just accepted love could only come to me through one person, through one channel, then it wouldn't be coming in all the different ways. Not a popular concept in the world, but it really works. Because love is so special in the world. So thank you, God. Thank you, gods.
And also going the other way around, like you or me giving out love to people who you might think, you think of as strangers. Or there's been times where I feel like, oh, I should stop and help that person or this, and for whatever reason I don't. Or sometimes, a lot of times I do, but sometimes you don't, and
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes when I pull up to the corner and I see somebody standing up there with a sign and I feel compelled to share. Sometimes I pull up and I feel no compelled. No, I don't feel any compulsion. And I'm okay with that. You know, that's what you don't want to give out of a sense of sacrifice and guilt. You want to give out of a sense of love and joy. So if I don't feel it, I don't do it. That's the way I do it. You know, then I don't beat myself up about it if I don't. You know, and that's what you should do. Give from the heart. If it's not coming from the heart, you know, just ask for somebody else to do it. You know, like see that person's need being met. Like even if I'm zooming by and somebody's car is broke down and I don't feel like stopping, but I'll take a moment and see them having help arrive. You know, so at the very least, see your brother or sister helped, aided, strong, powerful love, whether you physically are the one to do it or not. You'll know if you're physically the one to do it because you'll do it. That's how you can tell. Everybody got that? All right. If you're doing it, you're the one supposed to be doing it. If you're not doing it, you're not the one that's supposed to be doing it. And just because you didn't do it doesn't mean the person isn't going to be helped.
And if you're doing it and it's not feeling good inside, then
You're really not giving the person
Exactly.
anything but guilt anyway.
Right.
You're not really sharing anything real with them anyway.
so it's very simple.
That's
If
what I
I
was.
feel good, I'm on the right path.
Hello.
Yeah.
Could it be
I
that
love
simple?
that.
Could it be that simple? But all of us know if we be honest with ourselves, that kind of explanation does feel right to our being. You know. Ah. Yes. All right. Any questions about anything or comments about what we've covered so far? Anyone? All you brilliant teachers of God, I know you have some thoughts.
I love the
Aha.
thought that, because this happens to me a lot. I work on Colfax, you know, so I'm constantly, thank you. I'm not even Catholic, but you know, so there were a lot of opportunities, and you know, there are a lot of times where I will help people.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I went through that whole thing where, you know, sometimes I would help them because I felt a sense of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cool growing experience getting to the point knowing that if I just think love their way, even though I'm not the one to physically help them, I'm still placing myself in a service position.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, because I'm aligned with feeling fine either way.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Knowing that,
Yeah.
that they'll be taken care of just fine
That's right.
by another part of me that's coming right after me.
Yeah. What I experience sometimes too is that when I receive a lot of love, it brings up the part of me that doesn't believe I deserve it. Much to my surprise, I'll find the part of me that feels like I am guilty. It will come up strongest when somebody's being loving to me. That my feelings of unworthiness come up the most when people are being the most kind to me. Which makes sense though, because the light always dispels the darkness. You know, you pour a lot of water in a pail with some dirt at the bottom, well, the dirt's going to come up because so much clean water is coming in, right? And you have to keep the water coming so that eventually all the dirt goes over the side. But for a while, it looks real cloudy, right? And you'll be tempted because it's cloudy to stop putting the water in. The dirt settles back down to the bottom. You still got the dirt there, but now you feel better, right? So if you are going through that period where your life is the most in turmoil and cloudy with the dirt because you've been putting so much truth in your, thank you. That explains the last 2 weeks, Debbie. I've been a dirty pig. I've been saying, you say you're my hose. Oh, you have a hose. Okay. Thank goodness for my hose.
Well, that's very good.
Keep it coming. I need that hose coming in there with that water.
Oh my.
So right now, if there seems to be a lot of turmoil in your life, and everything is all stirred up, it may be because you've been giving yourself so much love, giving yourself so much truth, giving yourself so much support, making a decision for your happiness, and use that pail analogy. That dirt does come up when that fresh water is coming in. And you know if you keep the water coming in, eventually the whole pail is clear. But if you stop, then the dirt settles back down. It looks clear. And a lot of times when I'm counseling in my sessions, I'll try to tell people the stages that they're going to go through in their transformation. And it's interesting how few people really can go through the dirty pill experience without bailing. Even though you've told them they're going to go through it. You know, first they get the truth and they're very excited because it sounds good, it feels good, and then about 2 or 3 sessions in, their stuff starts to come up and their ego starts to battle every change they're trying to make, and they get distraught. And I try to tell them that's normal. That means you just need to give it to yourself more. Most people bail. They bail. And then it looks like things have gotten better. So they tell themselves it was all the truth that they were giving themselves was the problem. It was the focusing in on the truth and the coming to the classes, because it looked like once they started coming to the classes is when all the stuff started to happen. And you can tell them, you're going to go through this. And that's what these books do. They tell us every stage we're going to go through on the way to enlightenment. So hopefully when we go through them, we won't be deceived. And we'll realize it's natural that you're not going to feel good all the time while you're on the way to enlightenment. That you're going to have, Peter say, you're going to have doubts. They're going to come and they're going to go. It says it in the book. But then we freak out the minute we don't feel good. You know, like, oh my God, like you haven't been told. You're going to go through that. And right now, I've had so much stuff come up for me because it's been so much love in my experience, especially the last 18 months or so. So it's hitting it now. It's like, okay, you got enough love to look at some more darkness, you know, that's under that rug, you know, to come up right now. And sometimes you're reluctant to share that with people because if they don't understand that process, they make it realer than you do. They see it more serious than you do. So a lot of times I don't even say anything to people because I don't want to hear what they got to say. Because they're not going to say what I want to hear. If I say I got a cold, they're going to tell me how it was a virus. I don't need to hear that. I need to hear this is a defense against the truth. This is a call for love. You need to study more and focus on the truth. I join you on the truth. You are unlimited spiritual being. This is just a call for health. I don't need to hear it's the weather, you got too close to me, I coughed. And that's what regular people are going to tell you. They're going to give you all the external reasons why what's happening is happening. That's why you have to be conscious of who you tell stuff to as you begin to grow spiritually. You don't want human speak. You don't want to listen to the human definition of what you're going through. I don't want to hear if I'm going through a financial ebb cycle, I don't want to hear it's because of the economy. I don't want to hear it's because I'm black. I don't want to hear it's because I don't need to hear any of that stuff. That's the old paradigm. I don't want to hear the old paradigm. So if I'm going to share it, I'm going to share it with someone who's going to say, don't forget you sustained by the love of God. You are entitled to miracles. This is a call for love. Not someone that's going to tell me, well, you know the economy is hard right now in Denver. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you need to go back to school. You know, I go back to school after I remind myself that I'm sustained by the love of God. I might go to school as a symbolic willingness of me being willing to let the prosperity come in through that channel, but not because I think that's what's taking care of me. So I recorded the lesson, Sickness is a Defense Against the Truth. I got my own personal medicine cabinet, as I call it, which are recordings that I've made from the Course in Miracles that pertain specifically to anything I think I'm going through. And I put it on my iPod and I listened to it all night long, every night. So I must have heard Sickness is a Defense Against the Truth in the last 2 weeks, no less than 500 times. Okay, not no one little time and then I'm freaking out because something hasn't changed. No, I've got to, that's where I go first. Then after I do that, then I'll take my, Mucinex. Because that's symbolic of my willingness to be healed. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the Course defines it, that if you try to heal yourself and you don't heal yourself, he says, then you should rely temporarily on an external healing method. He says, because that's what you have faith in, so you let it work. So the truth doesn't say it's not okay to go to a doctor when you're sick. Just don't lie to yourself about where the sickness is ultimately coming from. Your own consciousness, your own sense of separation, your own unconscious guilt and anger, your own call for love. Then go to the doctor if you think you need to go to the doctor. But put some truth in there somewhere, rather than reinforcing your belief that it's being caused by something outside of yourself because you're just a frail human being at the mercy of the weather conditions outside of you. So don't share what you're going through with people who are going to reinforce the illusion about you. It would almost be better to tell them you feel fine. But if you're talking to somebody else who's trying to be an awakening being with you, then you can say, hey, last night my ego made me want to commit suicide. I was so upset about that. And they'll hear it as, boy, that's your call for love. And I'm just here to remind you that you're safe right now. And go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead and say just how you felt last night. Now remember who you are while you're doing that. Not somebody that's going to see you that way. And that's the way you are.
See you as a victim.
See you as a victim. See, and then long after you've gotten better, they still seeing you as a victim. You feeling good. And they still, you still feeling bad? All right, Earl, it's like, I'm okay. It's just a call for love. It's called being, having a human experience. Sometimes I feel good. Sometimes I choose not to feel good. Depending on how much of my innocence or my guilt coming up right now. That's remember that I am responsible. I see, like the Court says, at least I can decide I don't like what I feel now. And so I hope I have been wrong. I want another way to look at this. Perhaps there is another way to look at it. What can I lose by asking? So you go to your truth when you're most upset. I pay a lot of attention to what's the first thing a person says when they're upset or unhappy. Do they come from human speak? Or do they come from God's spirit speak? When the person's upset is when you can tell what they really believe. Because people can talk this stuff as long as they're feeling good and they think things are going their way. But I'm curious to see what people say when they're afraid. When they're afraid, do they go straight to what the world says? Or when they're afraid, do they go to what the truth says? And if I get irritated, the Court says, if I get irritated at them, he says, that's just me getting upset with myself for the times I've done the same thing. That's why I'm getting irritated, because I do the same friggin' thing. Or else I wouldn't get irritated. So it doesn't mean I'm going to get irritated at them. I'm not going to get irritated at them if I'm forgiving myself for the same thing. I am going to get irritated at them if I'm not forgiving myself for doing the same thing. Wow. Whew. Where's my Mucinex? Okay.
I've got one.
Thank you, brother. And give it to me. Give it to me before I leave here tonight. Okay. I let the universe be of service to me through you. Right? So being with you is the most healing thing I could possibly do for my body. Put myself in the presence of unity, oneness, and love. And then whatever I do after that, that's just symbolic of my willingness to be healed. You see?
Yep.
Yeah. So I want you all to know, and this is between me and you and whoever else in the world. It was funny. Somebody sent me a message that said, because I mentioned I was 61, and somebody sent me a message the other day that said, 61, shut up! Shut up! Like they said, shut up! Sometimes I get as much compliments about my sweaters as anything I say. I think I take this really deep class, and get this response and go, man, that sweater you had on. Where did you get that? Where did you get that? I was talking about your salvation. Self-realization. But it is kind of cool, isn't it? Oh boy, I tell you. Oh God, the Earth trip has been quite the journey.
Yeah.
I
Just
tell you.
between you and me.
Uh-huh.
You started to say something. Just between.
Oh, it's between us.
Sorry.
No, really, let me think what I was going to say. Just between you and I don't know,
In the
world.
in the world, in the rest of the world, I don't know, it's gone. And it's
Yeah.
coming through, but then I wasn't supposed to say that. That was not to be spoken. That was for my own best interest. You know.
Earl,
Uh-huh.
just between you and me.
Uh-huh.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
I love coming here every Thursday. I love it because I don't hear anything here but the truth. And thank you.
Mm.
Just between you and me.
Ah.
I couldn't do this without you.
Yes. thank
Man, we got, you and I have such a great bromance.
Yeah, we do.
I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I do, because I've been attacking myself the last couple of weeks. I've been on my case. I mean, it's like everything that I could possibly feel guilty about that I think I've ever done in my whole life has come up in the last 2 weeks. That's how I know that there's some kind of a major breakthrough happen. You can always tell when a major breakthrough happens because your ego feels threatened and it throws everything at you that it possibly can because it knows you're about to go to a whole new level of consciousness. And if you're aware of that, then you can let it come up and you can use the tools that we're getting right here, and that's when I apply it. That's why I was saying about, my medicine cabinet and listening to, the truth over and over and over again. I'm proactive. I don't like leave it to chance. So the minute I feel it coming, it's like, okay. And then I put it in, and then I read it to me. Like if I'm reading it, I'll be Earl, to be of service to God is not to be a slave to God, but Earl is for you to attend to God. Earl. Your sickness is a defense against the truth. It's a defense against the truth. I talk to me like that in my own voice. So that when it comes up, then I'm getting that other, because I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to my ego when I'm afraid. I don't want to listen to my fearful thoughts. And so it's just with technology, it's so much easier to have your self-realization supported with the technology we have today. There's no excuse, in other words. We have no excuse for hearing anything other than the truth. Because we make time for everything else.
Yeah.
We do. We make time for everything else. But the truth becomes what I do, at least for me anyway, it would be what I would do when I thought I had handled everything else. And then when I got everything else handled, at that point, I might focus on the truth. And then when I put the truth first, then all that other stuff started to take care of itself. It was amazing to watch that happen. Put the horse before the cart. Put the truth before your illusion, not the illusion before the truth, and watch what happens. What'll happen is you'll become more of what you are right now, these incredible, powerful, beautiful, luscious, juicy, awakening, gorgeous beings that's sitting in front of me right now. Could you acknowledge yourself, please, God? Awesome beings. Reading the truth in your own voice is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. It's a really great thing to do. And so I'm going to take a couple of minutes and we'll just around this to kind of let ourselves feel this, and it's okay to just listen. But I want to finish it with this thought. And so you want to give the universe permission, and that's why you say that, so it's a symbol of your willingness. And if you walk out of here tonight with the attitude that you are willing to let the universe be of service to me, I let the universe be of service to me. I let the universe be of service to me. I let the universe be of service to me. I let the universe be of service to me. I let the universe be of service to me. My happiness and my function are one. My happiness and my function are one. That's how you know when you're doing it right. When you're doing it right, your happiness and your function are one. Your happiness and your function are one. And so today, we want to remind ourselves, I want another way of looking at the world. I want another way of looking at the world. I want another way of looking at the world. I want another way of looking at the world. Now think about a situation that has created a cloudy, dirty pail for you. The area that you may be fooled in right now, where you're tempted to see yourself as a victim, where you're tempted to see yourself as disoriented and confused, and tell yourself, I want another way to look at this. 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 When you get scared, think of us. When you get scared, see this as your place of power. And just take a minute to just look around the room so that you can kind of get a picture of this in your mind. Even you're bashful, kind of look around the room. These are your mighty companions. And you made sure that you had some really cute and juicy companions. You know what I'm saying? Aren't we blessed? Can we acknowledge each other? Yeah. All right. Woo! And if I ever think of whatever it was I was getting ready to say, you'll be the first to know.